Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a bit different than my usual life in Japan vlogs, as it'll be my first travel video on this channel. In March, I visited one of my close friends in Paris, and this was my second time going to France. I took Vietnam Airlines and had a layover in Vietnam, and I was super excited to eat pho. I've never properly been able to visit Vietnam, but pho is one of my favorite foods, so even if it was just airport quality, I was really looking forward to it. Also, the in-flight meal option for the Japanese meal was actually quite impressive and tasty. I had about 2 hours to kill during my layover and successfully found a pho restaurant near my gate. There are a lot of pho restaurants in Japan, but something about it just hits different. I actually had the worst experience on the flight after this from Vietnam to Paris, so this was kind of the calm before the storm as I enjoyed my noodles in peace. After a very exhausting 13-hour flight, I safely arrived at the airport where my friend was waiting to pick me up. It's very common for trains to suddenly stop, so we had to get off and ended up Ubering to her apartment. After freshening up, she took me to a Basque food restaurant that she recommended. I've never tried Basque food before, and this was a great introduction to it. I loved the atmosphere of the restaurant, and the staff all seemed nice and friendly. We got a few dishes to share, and it was just so good and felt like comfort food, and it was a great first meal that I would definitely recommend. We walked around for a bit since we were so full, but eventually we got tempted seeing this bakery, which was also another one of her recommendations. We decided to pick up this vanilla chocolate New York roll to eat as a snack and a raspberry croissant for the next day. We walked to the Seine River and found a quiet area to rest and have our New York roll. This was so good. I honestly didn't even know this was a thing. I don't think it's very popular or well known just yet in Japan, but wow, the texture of the layers and the filling was so nice. We walked around a bit more and ended up passing this famous patisserie, and despite how full we were drawn in and somehow convinced ourselves we could fit in a few more sweets. I loved the interior of the shop and of course the beautiful display of pastries. We ended up getting an eclair and 2 macarons and ate it inside the shop. We passed through the garden to get to the station, but it was quite cold and starting to get dark, so we just headed home. We stopped by the local supermarket and I was so excited since I love browsing supermarkets. I couldn't believe the amount of different cheeses and meats, and it was also interesting seeing French Japanese food. This supermarket also had a ton of cute rabbit items, and I was so tempted to buy one since I have a pet bunny, but I was worried it would break and ended up not getting anything. Back at home, my friend was putting out some mimosas that she had received, and we got a simple, quick dinner ready. I was so exhausted from my trip and first day out in Paris that I fell asleep immediately. For breakfast the next day, we had some of the bread we had bought the day before, some strawberries, and raspberry applesauce. On this morning, we decided to head to the Eiffel Tower. I have been there before, but we thought we should go again since it is an iconic must on a Paris trip. However, the weather didn't seem to want us to go, and as soon as we walked just a few seconds out of the station, it started raining heavily and slightly hailing, that we decided to just retreat straight back into the station and change our plans. When you're traveling with friends, it's so important not to let the little things bother you. Even if rain ruined our plans, we just laughed it off and thought of it as an opportunity to find something else. We refused to let something like bad weather ruin our mood, and I like to think that this actually led us to find one of my favorite restaurants from the trip. We came across this restaurant and the weather was already clearing up. My friend also hadn't been here before, so we decided to have lunch here. We were planning to eat lunch later, and since it was still early, we couldn't order off of the lunch menu, so we just had some drinks while we thought about what to eat. Feel free to pause and look at the menu. Everything looked so delicious, but I felt that I needed to try a proper French onion soup, and my friend got the slow-cooked lamb shoulder. Both dishes were so incredibly tasty and filling, but of course we needed something sweet at the end, so we shared a French toast with thick salted caramel sauce. It was somehow so sunny and warm while we were at the restaurant. I loved this view and people watched while we ate. We walked around a while and browsed some shops before arriving at the market. This is the oldest market in Paris, which was started over 400 years ago. There was a variety of cuisines such as Italian, Lebanese, African, and other stalls where you can eat at or take out from. I really wished that I had infinite space in my stomach to try the food, but we had just finished lunch and had dinner reservations, so I settled for a fresh mixed fruit juice with apple, grape, and pear that they make on the spot. There was also a jewelry stand just outside the market that my friend had been to before, and the nice old man gave us a small discount. My friend got a sun necklace to try and manifest better weather, and I got these gorgeous green earrings. It started raining again, so we spent some time at Mercy's, which was so cute and fun. They sell clothes and interior goods, and it was a great place to not only kill time, but do some shopping if you're also looking for some gifts. We still had some time left until our dinner, so we decided to go to a cafe to rest, only to realize that we had actually come to this cafe the last time I visited her 4 years ago. Neither of us realized until we reached, and we even got seated near where we sat previously. This cafe is super cute and cozy. I love the effort they put into the decorations. Since it was chilly, I got a hot chocolate and my friend got a hot tea. We decided to get breakfast for the next day from this bakery that my coworker recommended to me since she wanted me to try their black charcoal bread. We still had a bit of time before we needed to start heading to the restaurant, so we went to And Other Stories, which is one of my friend's recommended clothing shops. We unfortunately don't have this shop in Japan, and that made me think it was a French shop, but when I looked online it seemed that they have a lot of shops across the world, so perhaps some of you may know it. I tried on these two long dresses. They're very different in style, but I was drawn to both of them, and I really liked it, but I'm so indecisive and couldn't commit, so I ended up not getting either. But to be honest, especially looking back at this footage, I still think about it sometimes. We finally started walking to the restaurant, and the sky was unbelievably stunning. The restaurant was so pretty. I loved the interior and the vibes. We had an early reservation, but a good thing we did since before we knew it, it was full with people. I appreciated all of the friendly young staff, and this flirty printed store napkin was so cute. For our appetizer, we got these fried balls with pork shoulder that had been cooked for 16 hours, And for our main, my friend got chicken leg and I got steak with fries. Everything was so delicious, but of course we had to get dessert as well. That was all for day 1 and 2 of my 10-day trip. I hope you enjoyed. Again, very different from my usual Life in Japan content, but I'm so happy I get to share about my travels as well. I also went to Amsterdam for the first time on this trip, so I can't wait to show you that soon. As always, thank you so much for watching.